Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Divine Mercy Sunday. On the first Sunday of Easter, 88 years ago, in 1935, the original created image of Divine Mercy was unveiled at a Mass in Vilnius, Lithuania. And St. Faustina, the visionary of Divine Mercy, was actually there in person. The celebration that Easter brings to us is the gift of Jesus' resurrection. And I think it's appropriate that on the very next Sunday, today, we are presented with another special gift from God. Today, we are a part of tradition that accepts and embraces His gift of divine mercy. But what does that phrase actually mean? Here's one of the best definitions I've found. Divine mercy is the love of God beyond what humankind deserves. Let me say that again. Divine mercy is the love of God beyond what humankind deserves. This gift is an invitation to all of us who are sinners to embrace God's love and forgiveness. It's always accessible. It's always flowing. It's never ending. He is an endless source of forgiveness that is unearned, undeserved. It cannot be turned off, stopped, or restricted. No matter what sin we've committed or how often we have sinned, God's forgiveness and mercy is always available. The key is that we must access it, reach for it, pray for it, and come to God in humility and ask Him for forgiveness. We are called to use our free will to choose it. Can you picture what it meant to these disciples in our gospel this morning to see Jesus, the glorified Jesus after the resurrection? Here's their intimate friend, their teacher. They spent time with Him, they loved Him, and He loved them back, and they saw Him die. And then they experienced Him coming back to life. And since this has not happened to any of us, it might be difficult for us to relate to this emotionally. But wait, in a sense, didn't it happen to us? Did you allow yourself to journey through Holy Week and experience the emotions of losing Jesus? The Triduum is a liturgy that's meant to bring our emotions into that unfolding story of His death. Or if not that, maybe you remember the loss we felt during COVID, when we didn't have ready access to the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. That's the kind of loss that the disciples felt. And His appearance in the gospel today brought that loss to an end. And His appearance in the real presence of the Eucharist today can bring that loss to an end for each one of us. Divine mercy is on ready display in our gospel this morning. And it's present in as much as what was not said as what was said. When Jesus came, what was the first thing He said to them? Peace be with you. Shalom. Before anything else, Jesus takes the first step towards reconciliation. He could have just as easily said, thanks a lot, guys. Where were you? Peter, I was right about you, wasn't I? I knew y'all would abandon me. You're not worthy of my salvation. But that didn't happen, did it? He poured His mercy upon them. But think of how you or I would have handled such a situation, looking to scold first. Jesus' forgiveness was a given. And in the very next verse, He gives the apostles and His church the gift of divine mercy. He has transferred total and complete mercy of God to the Holy Church. The overwhelming power of forgiveness is given to the apostles and to each one of us. It's our responsibility to take this mercy, free and undeserved, and pass it along to others in our lives. As disciples, we are given the gift and the responsibility to accept and dispense mercy to those around us. We willingly approach God in reconciliation for mercy, don't we? We ask for His forgiveness, but in the same way, we're called to give mercy and forgiveness, even if it's undeserved. to those around us. There is a phrase in the Exultet that's proclaimed, that song, that long song that's sung at the Easter Vigil, that explains perfectly how this works. In fact, the message is so simple that it can be overlooked. If you've ever been to the liturgy, the light of Christ is the only candle that enters the church. And for a while, it's the only thing that's lighting the whole church. And you can see and feel its power. But soon people light other candles from it, and they share that light, and the entire church is filled with light, and darkness fades away. We see the physical reality of that phrase from the Exultet that says, "A fire into many flames divided, yet never dimmed by sharing its light." Let me show you what I mean. Did you see what happened? When I lit my candle from the Easter candle, that flame didn't go out. It didn't get dim. It didn't get smaller. And now my flame is lit. And if I take this candle and light flames to every one of you around the church, mine stays just as bright, just as warm, just as tall as it was before. I haven't lost anything. And I can light other candles over and over and over again. Divine mercy works just like that. God grants me mercy and grants you mercy. And as St. Faustina heard from Jesus, then we're called to share that with others in our lives. And we're not diminished. Perhaps we could rephrase part of the Lord's Prayer. I'm not suggesting that I want to rewrite the Our Father, but it does have a part of divine mercy. If maybe instead of asking for the forgiveness of our sins, as we forgive those who have sinned against us, we could pray, "Give us your mercy, Lord, as we have given mercy to those around us." As we celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday, let our hearts and our spirits become saturated with the real presence of His love and mercy in the Eucharist today. Then each one of us can completely surrender in that simple response, "Jesus, I trust in you."